Yes, party people, welcome back to Where My Killer Tape At, episode number 70. Man, me making it, man. I know I was gone an extra week, but I'm here. We are going to, I am going to talk about that Black Mirror episode, Striking Vipers, just a little bit about it. Talk about reparations. We're going to talk about culture vultures and tipping. We're going to talk about tipping, man, because some of y'all not doing it right. And then we're going to talk about anti-blackness when it comes to the futures of our babies. Yeah, if you want a little bit deep in this discussion, party people, let us begin. Where my killer tape at, B?
For episode 70 of Where My Killer Tape At, I'm sipping on Dragon Milk Stouts, white bourbon barrel aged white stout. Isn't that crazy? Like, I had to check it out because I never had a white stout before, so I did. And it comes off like an ale, so it's pretty good. It doesn't have the same kick as the usual stuff, but it's up there. It's pretty decent. Shout out to the Barrel House for that. I know I'm not getting paid for this. Word.
I want to talk about culture vultures because I noticed that like people throw that term around loosely. And I know like Urban Dictionary has a nice definition of it. And they're saying a person or an organization making profit using unhonorable practices from a culture they do not care for. That's like, in a nutshell, boom, perfect, right? Let me just say this real quick. The first time I heard the term culture vulture was like 1992. There was a book written by the late, great Del Jones. He used to call himself the war correspondent. And he, in the conscious community, he used to come around. I remember I see him lecture for free because I remember he moved down to Virginia. Because he was originally from Philadelphia. And he used to come down and lecture. But he had a book. It was called Culture Vultures Volume 1 and Volume 2. No, I take that back. My bad. It's called Culture Bandits, but that's the first time I heard of it. Was through him. He had a book called Culture Bandits, and man, I'm old, right? But anyway, he had that book, and that's the first time I heard him. Heard that term. I'm not saying he started it, but that's like the first time I heard that. But I just want to point out, it's like when somebody minds a culture that they don't care about. And they don't like put their people on. And there's a lot of them running around out there. And some of them look like us. So just to give you a heads up on that. Word.
Yeah. Yo, I think Prince should run first on this one. I think so. Yeah. Yo, I think Prince should run first on this one. I think so.
Yo, I just learned that Danny Glover and Ta-Nehisi Coates are going to Capitol Hill on Juneteenth, and they are going to they're gonna talk about slave reparations. There's gonna be a hearing. It's gonna be held by the House Judiciary Subcommittee on the Constitution, Civil Rights, and Civil Liberties on June 19th, and it's set to explore the legacy of the transatlantic slave trade and its continuing impact on the community and the path to restorative justice. I'm going to post that at vibe.com. I'm going to post that in the show notes. Wow, that's crazy. And let me just say this. Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote a piece for the Atlantic on reparations. Everybody should read that shit. Everybody should read it. And I'm gonna say this, like, I've given people that, and it's a long article, first of all, just to let you know. It's a long read, but Ta-Nehisi Coates makes a wonderful case for reparations. I mean, like, you can't refute that shit. Like, I know people that were on the fence about it. I know people that were like, why should we get reparations? And they read that shit and it was like, bruh, I'm a believer. You know what I mean? Um, Here's my thing, because I had elders. I used to be part of the reparations movement. I had elders in an organization called In Cobra and everything, and pretty much most of my adult life, that's the discussion we've been having. So white people ain't giving us a damn fucking thing. That's what I believe. The reason why I don't think we should fight for it, because they just not gonna give it to us. They just not gonna give it to us. It's just, I don't see them doing it. You know what I mean? And people will say, well, they gave the Japanese internment camp survivors, they gave them reparations, but they gave them like 40 G's. You know what I mean? And I thought that's a drop in the fucking bucket. And they gave it to them. A lot of them, were like in their 80s or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them haven't even gotten that money. So most of the people that made it through there died, and then, you know what I'm saying? And some of them are probably still ain't get that money yet. So, and then, and I'm not trying to be funny. I don't do the oppression Olympics. I just feel like there wasn't as many as the survivors of the Ma'afa, the disaster, right? There was I don't remember the exact number of Japanese internees, but I want to say it was like 30,000. So if you do the numbers, it's not a lot of money that they gave them, right? But when we ask for reparations, we're talking about in the trillions, and I just don't see that happening. I could see maybe the federal government saying, I got to pay taxes for the rest of y'all life, and I got to pay for college or some shit, or we give y'all interest-free home loans or whatever. But I don't see them giving us any reparations at all. I'm not hopeful of that at all. So I don't think that's a fight we should fight. Don't get me wrong. I love Ta-Nehisi. I love the article he did. I love Danny Glover. I go on and on, but I just don't see that happening, man. Word. When I think about this, I actually feel kind of bad. I was at my favorite bar the other day, chilling. There was a dude in front of me, and I should have said something looking back, right? So like, he ordered mad drinks. He was like, boom, he ordered mad drinks, and my bar, the Barrel House. Shout out to the Barrel House, man. I love y'all, man. They really dope. The people there, the management, the staff, they really dope. Anyway, I go there all the time. I bring my peoples there all the time. Shout out to DJ Ike for Wu-Tang Wednesday. I love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. But anyway, and this is something that we talk about all the time. When people go out and stuff to restaurants and bars. So this dude in front, he's ordering mad stuff. He got the bartenders bringing him the drinks because they don't have waiters or waitresses. You order it and they pour stuff up there, but they'll bring it out to you. Like if it's a big order, they'll bring it out to you all love. You know what I'm saying? So he ordered mad drinks, you know what I mean? And they went above and beyond, which is, it's their job, you know what I mean? So, he's like, boom, this how much, the bartender's like, yo, this how much it costs. And it ended up being like, I'm making up a number now, but it ended up being like $34.90. Like it was $34.90, you know what I mean? It was something like that. So dude pulled out a wad of cash, bam. I'm going to say, without even counting, because I don't be counting people's pockets like that, I'm going to say, yeah, like 200. Boom. You know what I mean? So he counts out the exact amount. It's like $34.90, so he counts out 35. Boom. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, he even looks for, I could tell he had a lot of money because he was looking for actual, like he was actually looking for the bills. So it was like 2 20s, a 10, and a 5. You know what I mean? So then he gives the bartender money. The bartender gives him back the change. It's a dime, and then he takes the dime and puts it in the tip jar, and then he pulls off. And he's like, "Oh, we're gonna be sitting over here," and I'm just like, "Damn, like that's fucked up," And my point is that I don't think you should go out if you're not gonna tip nobody. Fact, I feel like if you're not gonna tip people, then don't even go out. Don't even bother going out. It's whack. It's mad whack. Actually, I gauge my friends on whether they tip or not. They give no tips, so they give a low tip. I don't really mess with them no more. Word.
It's all a game. It's all a game.
there's this there was this YouTuber. Like I guess every story should be starting like that now, right? Like I remember back in the day there was this YouTuber. Anyway, there's this YouTuber. I'm not gonna mention her name, or I'm not gonna mention that YouTuber's name because I know what's gonna happen is a lot of people are gonna go over there and check it out. If you haven't checked it out already, but and this person has a lot of followers. I've never seen them before until they were talking about it on Twitter. But anyway, she just has a baby. I guess I can say she just has a baby, and the baby has brown eyes, and she makes a comment saying, hey, the baby's eyes are not pretty. And I'm paraphrasing here, but ultimately what she's saying is the baby's eyes are not pretty because they're not light eyes like her eyes are light. And when I say light, I mean like green. I mean green or blue. I really try to stay away from saying that those are pretty eyes because and we're gonna talk about that in a second, right? Because white supremacy is so what's the word I'm looking for? White supremacy is so subversive that a lot of times we say anti-black things without even knowing that we're saying it. Because a lot of it is so ingrained in us, all the way since we were kids. Like soon as a baby pops out, the first thing people say is, "Oh, the baby's light skinned," or "The baby's going to be light skinned," or "You could tell the baby's going to be light skinned because of the ears," or "They're going to be dark skinned." "Ooh, they got good hair." We're already picking apart, the child, and that's because of white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the pretty hot, pretty eyes, pretty hair, whatever. And when we say pretty, a lot of us actually mean in closeness to how white people look, white people's appearance, So you run into white people that have blonde eyes, or green eyes. So a lot of that is anti-blackness. A lot of it says, that the idea that blackness is ugly, that quote unquote black features are ugly. Like a thin nose is cute, a broad nose is not. So what she was saying was coming from that place. And what bothered me is that usually, I've seen people say stuff like that, and I've checked them, or people have checked them, and of course they're taken aback, they're like offended. But the thing with her was that she doubled down, and I thought that was really wild. Which a lot of people do that. They double down. They double down instead of saying like, "Oh, let me go do the math on this." They'd be like, "Nah, fuck that. I'm sticking to my guns." And so she did a response video with her boyfriend, and she tried to explain herself, and she pretty much, as usual, she dug a hole for herself. And this is the part that really blows my mind, because people say anti-black shit all the time. I'm not saying that it's right, but the wild part is that a lot of us agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us, I hear people say stuff like this all the time. I work with young people, and I hear young people. When I say young, I'm talking about 10-year-olds, right? And they say anti-black stuff all the time. Like, I'm not gonna date a dark-skinned person when I get older. Or if someone is dark-skinned, they're going to say they're ugly. Or they're going to say her hair is nasty because it's kinky. They say stuff like that. They say, and so it starts very young. And, because again, white supremacy is so subversive that it gets us when we're young. Because we're always talking about these things, and we're always repeating these things around our young people. So, I had young black boys say, "Oh, I want to date a Latino. I want to date an Asian, because I don't want to date a black girl because she's ugly." You know what I'm saying? Even though their mamas is black, so it's real. It's wild to watch in real time. So it hurts me that this person has followers. She has like hundreds of thousands of followers. I don't know how, because I just don't know how she gets hundreds of thousands of followers. But I guess she figured out the formula. I have not, right? So, but a lot of her followers agree with her, and that's not surprising. It hurts, but it's not surprising. And I think that when we start talking about anti-blackness, we start talking about features, especially children, we need to have this discussion and point out how a lot of us do this. A lot of us use terms and terminology that perpetuate anti-blackness, perpetuate the idea that black is ugly. So I'm glad we had this discussion. I'm glad we had this debate online. But it's so disheartening that in 2019 we're still having this discussion. Out to Disc Dolo, that's my brother. And actually, I'm gonna post a video that me, my brother, and my oldest son, Baby Boy Sabi, did We talked about Endgame, Avengers Endgame, and we talked about like because my son had a lot of issues with it. He was splitting hairs, and he said there was a lot of plot holes. So we talked about it. So if you've seen it, go ahead and watch it. I highly recommend it. It's about 45 minutes long. It's actually a good video. I know I sound brazy saying, "Oh, it's a good video," but you'll love it. I'm telling you. But if you haven't watched it, I wouldn't watch it at all. There's a lot of spoilers in it, so I'm gonna put that in there. Anyway, he told me that Diamond D released a new album. Diamond D is probably one of the most prolific hip hop producers out there. Should be in your top 10. And he's released his own albums, and he's also produced stuff for the DITC crew, the Digging in the Crates crew. And they put out a lot of dope boom bap, in the late 90s and early 2000s. But it's called the Dime Piece 2, this album, and it's spelled D-I-A-M as in Mary, so like Diamond, Diamond D. And it's really actually he only rhymes in a few of the tracks, but most of it features other artists. So they have Buckshot, they got Pharoah Monch, Snoop Dogg is in it. Remember Case? Remember that dude? Remember that singing dude? I was like, what happened to Case? He's in it. Eric Sherman is in it. Elzai, OC, Fat Joe, David Banner, Lord Tariq, and Peter Guns. I know, like where they been at, right? Well, I know Lord Tariq's put out material, but where Peter Guns been at? Outside of doing reality shows, right? Anyway, he even got Twista in that joint, yeah, and he got Doo-Wop. Yo, shout out to DJ Doo-Wop and Tony Touch. Like that song is dope, but I like it because it's a nice platter of stuff. The production is just amazing. Like Diamond D still be putting it on. It's really dope. But my favorites are I Can't Lose featuring Elzai and Blake Moses, and Got It Covered featuring OC. I'm a big OC fan, so that's dope. And then there's this joint in here called Next to You with Raheem Devon and Wes Felton. It's actually pretty dope. It's a nice little love joint. The hit is also dope by Doo-Wop and Tony Touch. And they call themselves the Diaz Brothers. If you listen to their old mixtapes, you know what I'm talking about. But by far the standout track to me is that song Hold Up featuring Twista and this dude named AFRO. And they just rhyming fast. And they just like, hold up. It's like really dope. It's a short song, but it goes hard. But it's a dope album, man. It really is. There's something in here for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's boom bap. Snoop Dogg kills this shit on here too, though. But it got something for everybody. So, and that's why I like it, because it's like, it's a platter. You might not like these 2 tracks, but these other 4 tracks you'll like. So it's definitely worth it. Again, shout out to Diamond D. So Netflix dropped Black Mirror season 3 and season 3. My bad. And I've seen 2 of the 3 episodes. Why do they call them seasons? There was only like 2 shows. You know what I mean? Anyway, but the one that I really enjoyed, and I actually watched it twice, is the Striking Vipers episode, which was dope to me, man. It was really dope. It's directed by Owen Harris, and it stars Anthony Mackie and Yahya Abdul Mateen II. Yahya Abdul Mateen II, he plays in mad stuff. He played Black Manta in Aquaman, and he played dude in The Get Down. He's been in mad stuff. He was in Us. He played the dad in Us in the beginning. And it also stars Nicole, I think it's Bahari, right? And it got old girl Palm Clementif, the one that plays I can't remember. In Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's funny because I remember her character from the comic book, but she plays that character that is romantically involved with Drax. So they're in it. I don't want to give away spoilers, but it's about these 2 guys that knew each other, these 2 brothers that knew each other. They met in college and they were really good friends, and then like one of them ended up, getting married and having kids, having a house and working and whatever. And he's still a player. He runs a record label. And they link up like once a year at his birthday party, Anthony Mackie's birthday party. They always link up. Anyway, when they were in college, they played a game that was kind of like Street Fighter. It's called Striking Vipers. It was like a cross between Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. So they played it, And then what happens is this time he comes around to his birthday, and Yaya's character gets Anthony Mackie, the latest version of Striking Vipers, which comes with a piece that you attach to your forehead, and it brings you, it's like a virtual reality into the game, but you also can like feel the punches and the kicks, and you get hurt and stuff like that. But you can actually pick the players like the regular video game, and you actually become the players on the screen. But you feel all the sensations. Anyway, during the they get in there during the fight scene, and something happens. They start making out and they have sex. It's I gave spoilers away. My bad. My bad, right? I think it's interesting on several levels because it deals with not just sexuality, but it deals with monogamy and family life, and it also deals with because it's not really. People are gonna trip when I say this, but I don't think I don't think they were having like gay sex, and here's why: because he was Yaya's character was the woman character in the video game, so they weren't having gay sex. I'm assuming it was vaginal sex, right? They were probably having anal as well, right? We could assume that they were, but it wasn't gay sex. So did Yaya have feelings for Anthony Mackie's character? Yes, I believe so. They both had feelings for each other, and you could tell that these was feelings that they had for years and years and years. And you could tell because Anthony Mackie's character always seemed uncomfortable when Yaya's character came around. I gotta remember what their names were for this movie, right? But there's a scene where, again, a spoiler, my bad. There's a scene where Anthony Mackie's character was like, if this is what it is, let's meet in person and let's try it. And if the sparks come out, then we are gay. And they go meet and they kiss, and you could tell Anthony Mackie's character is disgusted, but Yaya's character is still like ambivalent. Still like, I don't know about this. But anyway, they end up not doing it. I'm not gonna tell you the ending. I don't want to spoil the ending. But you're not gonna see the ending coming. But I thought it was really good discussion to have. I watched it with my family. I've watched it with some of my coworkers have watched it and we discussed it. This is a very fruitful discussion, about, again, sexuality, about monogamy, about family life, and, how we feel about each other and those kind of things. And I think it's really dope, really dope. For some of you, it might be uncomfortable. You know what I mean? You got to question yourself at that point. Are you homophobic? Again, they're not having gay sex. So, but I think it's a dope to watch. I highly recommend it. And this should be a discussion, man. I'm going to make that a party, man. I'll make that a party. Word. Yo, real quick, man. I'm going to talk to y'all about two dope hip-hop moments. One that happened to me a couple years ago and one that happened to me recently. The first one was when I went to... Ohio State University used to have these thing called Hip Hop Literacy Conference, and it was a conference for educators, and it talked about hip hop pedagogy. It's pretty dope. And I went one year, and Tony Blackman, she's a dope ass MC. If you don't know who Tony Blackman is, quite honestly, let's not be friends, because if you don't know who she is, she's dope. You ever seen her perform live? Anyway, she shout out to her, by the way. So she was doing a workshop, and they split us into groups, and somebody had to do the beat. And of course, me, what I'm saying? I got in there, did my beatboxing, you know what I mean? But I think the dope moment was when my squad was performing, and my beatbox was mad overwhelming. And she was like, yo, bring the levels down. But she didn't say it, she just did it with her hands. And I was like, oh shit. And I brought that shit down. And I was like, damn, I ain't know my beatbox was like that. You know what I'm saying? So I felt mad good, right? Validation like a mug, right? The second one happened recently. DJ Ike was spinning at Wu-Tang Wednesdays, and he uses vinyl and shit. So shout out to him for that. I'm gonna give him another shout out, by the way. So I went in there and I started, I b-boy, so I started getting down. I know I didn't hit the DJ booth, but I know like I did a move, and that's why I don't do power moves in there. I did a power move and landed on the floor, and it shook the table, you know what I mean? So then the turntable shook as well. He was like, yo, you're making the needle skip. And that's something I haven't heard in a while, B. I haven't heard that in a while. And that shit was like, it brought everything back. So I know I'm an old dude, you know, I'm an old fogey, but work. For this health segment, I want to pause real quick and I want to just say something. I know when a lot of people come to me and they say, you know, I want a beach body, or I'm trying to do the XYZ. One of the first things I do is I always say to them, you know, I really want you to really explore your body. I know that sounds crazy, right? I really want you to explore your body and look at yourself, really look at yourself and find the things about your body that you enjoy. Because I feel like you should love your body, period. You only have one, right? You can't switch them out, right? It's not like in the movies where you can just upload your consciousness into a body that you want, right? It's like an altered carbon. I want you to really, really look at it and really love yourself, because really, if you don't love your body, you can do all the working out, you can lose all the weight, you can do all these things, and you will never be satisfied. And that's when people start to harm themselves or do things that are harmful to their bodies, right? So I recommend really just looking at your body and loving it for what it is and for what you have. You know what I mean? And then you can start making those changes. But if you're not there mentally, man, you ain't never gonna be there. So I always tell people that, you know. So yes, I do believe in the moniker that everybody has a beach body. Hey, you do. You know what I'm saying? Your body's a summer body. And you should love on it. You know what I'm saying? So and you know, ultimately, and this is gonna sound corny to some of y'all, ultimately is really what's inside that matters, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you know, like the people that are around you, the people that love you, they love you for you. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody, but mostly everybody, they love you for you, man. They love you for the person that you are, and you got to remember that. So keep all those things in mind before you start your journey. I think that's the first thing. I should have done that at episode 1. You know what I'm saying? My bad. Yo, here we go with the shout outs. First shout out to the 2 homies for the podcast, Tea with Queen and Jay. Shout out to the homie Janicia for listening to my podcast and showing me love on the Twitters. Where is ball, man? Super validation. I feel like I've arrived. You know what I mean? I feel like I did it, man. So take that off the bucket list, right? Then shout out to the homie DJ Ike who does Wu-Tang Wednesday. Yo, shout out to you, man, for keeping the boom bap alive. I appreciate you for that and showing me mad love all the time. Shout out to the homie Aaron Pascal of AB2 Photography. He just had a born day. Salute to you, brother. We did meet the Kickstarter. We did it. We got it. We did it. Thank y'all for donating, for sharing the link. But it's on Mortal Man. The book shall be released in August. We are gonna have a book release party and all that. So stay tuned for that. Your boy's gonna be in the building doing the reading, with the accent. So word is born, man. I love y'all. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 70 of Where My Killer Tape At. Thank y'all. I love y'all. Definitely, if you want to book me, man, for a gig, for a workshop, a panel discussion, I'm actually working on one on intimate partner violence and how to love that I'm implementing. So if you want to do that with the brothers, let me know, man. I'm down for that. And you could do that. You can hit me up on my email, DanTresOmi, DanTresOmi @gmail.com. And in the header, make sure you put bookings. But you could also find me on the Twitters. On the Twitters. Shout out to my UK fam out there. And you could do that. I have 2. One that's the official joint for the show, and that's at Omi's Podcast, OMIS Podcast. And then the second one is my personal joint, the one that's like rated R, rated X, whatever. And that's at DanTresOmi, DanTresOmi. Definitely check out the links. I love y'all. And I see y'all at peace.